Summer is fast approaching, and I think it's time we took a little bit of stress out of our lives, isn't it? With HelloFresh UK, you can get all the ingredients and inspiration you need to make your meal times and your cooking experience simpler than ever. HelloFresh provides a number of recipes and meals to make your life as easy as possible, and also caters to a wide range of different dietary requirements. Use my special discount to get 50% off your first order plus 35% off the next three, and 3 free gifts as well. What more could you ask for? Check out the discount link or the checkout code down in the description below. Well, it's been an interesting few weeks here since you last were with me at Distillery. We got one of our 2 deadline day targets. We picked up some good results in the last few weeks as well. But now we've got a big double header in the SPFL Trust Trophy against Dunfermline, but first against Odense in a crucial Europa League clash. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 107 of Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We have had a good few weeks here with Distillery as we come back for another big double header. We have got some problems on the injury front. We're starting to pick up knocks which are costing us squad depth, and at this time of the season, we cannot afford it. We've got a big Europa League game today as we try and edge through in that competition. We've also got the SPFL Trust Trophy, and unfortunately, we're probably going to have to rest people. I did think about showing you the Ireland qualifier with Northern Ireland, but it looks like we might get through in that one. And I don't really want to bother you with qualifiers there. I only want to show the major tournaments. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on in 2 big club games today, then please do put a thumbs up on it. We've got to start with a lot of big news off the pitch. A new signing, and of course one that might well follow. Let's start with the man who came in on deadline day. Because Paul Ray joined from Wolverhampton Wanderers. He came in because Jamie Williams rejected us for the 2nd time, and he is a left back who is pretty decent. He's 18 years of age, and again, with the view to not needing to be registered for the domestic squad because he's under 20, but also might become homegrown at the club if he's here long enough. Great personality, which is something I'm focusing on this year. We brought in McClelland as a leader. We've now got a driven fullback in, who is as good as Williams was, so definitely no negatives there. The only real issue is that he's a bit short, but it hasn't hindered us yet. So as he gets settled in, we'll probably get some positive performances. The other lads, James and Smith, have started pretty well too. McClelland is now just back to fitness, ready for this weekend. And in terms of the results, things are looking up. We've done okay this month. We lost 1 game disappointingly in Europe, but it wasn't a bad performance. So since you were last with me, we won 2 cup games against Ards and Knockbreda, Farmer and Aitken the first game, Jones and Lafferty the second. A 3-1 win against Linfield in the league was massive. It was 1-1, Puarte scored the opener, Kellyman hit straight back, and they were dominating in the build-up to half-time. And in the 2nd minute of stoppage time in the first half, Rory Lennon did what he did a few years ago, if you remember. Was it the year we won the league? He scored that screamer, and he just put an absolute rocket in from 30 yards. Completely changed the 2nd half. We were the better team, and in the end we comfortably won the game. The problem is on Thursday night, we played brilliantly against Derry City, and we got properly FM'd. They scored their only shot on target. We didn't create any clear-cut ones, but we weren't brilliant. And Maurice Simpson's just not finding his form this year, which is part of the problem. He did score in a 2-1 win against PAOK. Maurice Simpson and Dermot Lafferty with the goals there. Then we rotated a significant amount of the side against Cliftonville on Saturday, but David Aitken with a brace, the youngster, he's starting to look good in his first team now and is pushing along a little bit. And it gets us the 3 points. It keeps us with just that 1 league defeat on the opening day, albeit it was a pretty big one. And going into this Odense one, I mean, it's a run of 5 non-league games now, so this is where we start getting behind. We've got 6 of our next 7 games outside of the Irish Premiership. We've got Linfield at the end of October. They're in a pretty similar position now. They've got 1 more league game than us against Glentoran, but it's not a great deal, is it? And both of us just really struggling to squeeze fixtures in. They've only played 1 in the Conference League as well, which makes it even worse, but they have played an extra league game. They got a good draw in Athens in their first fixture in the Europa League. We managed to pick 3 points out of 6, so hopefully we can add to that today. It's a big performance for us. We want to be at our best, but we are a game ahead of most teams. So let's go and see who we can put out. It is a big fixture for us. It is a big opportunity. We'll go as strong as we can against Odense. If we have to rest people at the weekend then, well, quite frankly, so be it. This game and Real Betis are far more important. Right then, you can see now where the squad is starting to get harmed by the fact that we've picked up key injuries. You can see one of them starting today in goal. We've also got those players who can't be registered in Europe due to the stricter regulations on homegrown players. And we've also got a few players that just aren't good enough. So the bench today, you've got an unfit McClellan and Parry. You've got a goalkeeper. You've only really got 7 outfield subs, and a couple of them, Lewis Scott and Bobby Harvey, are emergency backups at best. David Aitken's still a youngster. But the first 11 isn't bad in fairness. You've got an injured Neil Kane in goal. Murphy has been playing for the last 3 weeks, but we want to give Neil Kane a chance. We've got Ray, Reed, McKenzie and Goss, the back 4. 3 loanees in there. Smith could have made it all 4 if we'd picked our team slightly differently. Daly and Robinson, the midfield 2. Robinson has now overtaken Whitehall in terms of ability, playing better than him most of the time as well. And that's because of a big injury to Morgan Griffiths, which has pushed Rory Lennon further forward. Farmer is in for the injured Parry, who's on the bench for this one. And then Puarte on the right. Simpson up front. Morris Simpson not quite hitting a jackpot this year. We'll see if he can find it today, because the Europa League would be a great stage to find it. Let's go and see if we can get the result. Odense, they have got a manager in place, but they've only got the 6 subs. Most of their team is real, though, is very good. Let's go and see how we get on. We're going to have the music in a minute as we encourage and inspire most of these lads. And if this music doesn't get you going, then I don't know what will, because you ain't going to get much better in European football. The Europa League music is flying out of the sound system. Windsor Park is, of course, nearly empty as always. And that's why we're playing these games across Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday nights, because we're trying to juggle around Linfield, who, of course, are the main players in this stadium. Let's go and get through this awful pitch view into the first half. And let's see how we get on against Odense. We'll try and play on the front foot and get the result as we did against the Greeks. Well, 20 minutes gone. It's been a pretty poor game and it's a corner kick for our visitors here. Headed over the bar by Pierrick. It's been a pretty good start for them. They have been the better side. So we're going to drop to balanced as we've got our own corner. Goss is up. He hits the woodwork. Oh, it could have been a bit of a smash and grab there. I still don't think we've had a shot on target as Puarte carries it forward to Lennon. Loves a long range shot, but not this time. It's just calming down a bit now. We're controlling the ball. We're not controlling the game though. Let's get to half time and stay in it. Well, it certainly hasn't been the most entertaining 45 minutes you'll see, but we've got most of the lads inspired. We're doing okay, but we're not really doing much with the ball, and Odense look a threat on the break. So there are a few warning signs here. But ultimately, if we can keep picking up points in what is a new competition for us, we did really well in the Conference League. These sides are generally better, but we know we've got the tougher games coming up, and that's why we want to get points on the board. With 20 minutes to go, though, it's been a bit of a nothing match, and I feel we're going to need changes. So Lafferty is going to replace Varma on the left wing. I'm going to take Puarte off on the right. No idea who for. Let's come back to that. Tom Robinson has been great, but he's knackered. Daly will switch and Whitehall on. Not sure why they were telling me to put Bobby Harvey there. I'm going to go for Curtis Bell at left back for Ray, who's still getting settled in the club. Maybe I'll bring on Aitken and put Lafferty the other side. I think that's my best bet. Lafferty to the right as an inverted winger on support. And then Puarte off on the right, left-hand side, sorry. And I could bring on Parry. Do I go for it? What's his injury? Oh, he's got a fractured wrist, so he'll be all right. We're going to bring him on. Ben Parry on the left. That's job done. 4 changes made. We'll save one in case. Let's see if we can nick a winner. Because Lafferty, Parry, they've got those moments of magic in them. It's just whether we've got a creative spark. No shot on target. No real service for Simpson. And Lennon's not had a great game either. What do we do in defence too? Because McKenzie's struggling now as well. Goss is on a yellow. I think we switch McKenzie. We'll bring Smith on centre-half. And we'll go for that. 7 minutes to go. Let's just take the point and move on here. I think we'll be okay with it. We've not been great. We've been outplayed for the most part. Odense are a good side. We know from our Viable save last year, Danish football is pretty strong. They've put in a good performance. They've actually had the better away from home. But we're able to get the 0-0. I'm happy with that. 4 points on the board in the Europa League. And we continue to look pretty good. We're of course the top 2 sides at the minute because we've played more games than most. We've got another one against Real Betis where it starts to get trickier now. But before that, it's Dunfermline in the SPFL Trust Trophy. We'll be back in a moment with a much rotated side as we play the Scots in my favourite competition. Well, we've not had any success in getting him yet. His wage demands are just too high at the minute. But this is my target for sort of an extra attacking mid, but mainly a right winger moving forward. Damien Dunn is a 22-year-old Englishman. He's played for Ayr, Wrexham and Burnley. Burnley's the academy he came through. And you can just see from his general play, he's a big upgrade. He's a fairly professional player. He likes to keep the ball. He's great on the ball, to be fair. First touch technique, brilliant. Good determination. He's a bit of a flair player, but also works hard. And physically, he's an upgrade on what we've got. When you look at present of people like Tamindu Puate, and we'll do a comparison here so you can see, it is a very different level of player we're talking about. Puate, yes, more versatile, but it's chalk and cheese, the ability. He's a bit quicker, Puate. He's very slightly better in the air. But we are talking about two very different levels of player. And if we can get Damien Dunn in at some point this year, no interest from other clubs at the moment, and maybe we get our first superstar on the board. And this is what we've got to do. We had it a few years ago when we brought in the likes of Lennon and Griffiths, and it was that massive upgrade to the squad. And this is the sort of guy who does that for us. And they just fall out of the blue normally. If you go back a few years on our transfer history, when Lennon came in, was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it was about January, and he was just a big addition to the squad. Williams came in about this time of year, early October. And I'm hoping with Damien Dunn we'll be able to do the same thing, because he will be someone who's a superstar. I did miss out on loaning back Rui Hartman as well. He rejected us for Lincoln. So those are the two right wingers we've gone for. We've not got either yet, but the latter may be coming in soon. The third one who rejected us, and I'll show you him very quickly. Here he is. He went to Bromley instead because they could offer more money. Bit more of the traditional winger type, but very good and would have been a big upgrade. We missed out on him for League One football though. There's still a little bit of work to do on that reputation front. We'll be back in a moment to see if we get done. And of course, play against Dunfermline. Here we go then. We're back to face Dunfermline. And as much as I would like to get through in my favourite competition, we have got to prioritise sensibly. Every Europa League point we can pick up is massive for our future in terms of coefficient, and adds multiple 100,000 to the prize kitty in terms of our bank balance. So we've got to be sensible. We've also got to plan the players who aren't eligible for the Europa League, like Ethan James. Bobby Harvey's in that squad because he's homegrown in the nation. So James plays today. Harley Jones plays today. Sean Daniels plays today. Those are people who won't be featuring on Tuesday night, which is our next Europa League fixture. It does mean that we've had to rotate the squad a bit. Sam McClelland is back on the bench again and can come on today to get some football. But the squad is pretty much as we would expect. A full rotated 11. Murphy back in goal, so Neil Kane gets his full week of recovery after his injury. Bell and James are the fullbacks with Smith and Jones in central defence. We've got Daniels and Whitehall reunited in the middle. Oh, that's been a long time coming. David Aiken ahead of them, starting to really develop now. With Varma, the only man to keep his place on the left wing. Muckle Hatton over on the right, and Pardy came back from injury, got injured in his first game back. He's out another 6 weeks. And then Dermot Lafferty up front. The bench has got Neil Daly and Morris Simpson as the two game savers if it's tight. McClelland obviously to build his fitness. And in his four fringe players, Scott, Harvey, Stout and Farrington. Stout the best of them. He's had his troubles with Knox as well. Interestingly though, in his teenage years, he has grown another inch, which will help if we need to play him at centre-half. But let's go and get into it. Dunfermline away, 7,500 fans expected. This is going to be a pretty tricky fixture. I don't expect us to get through. Well, here are the teams with 5 changes. There's not too many real players left in this Dunfermline team, which is being managed by Scott Brown, weirdly. But if you look at the players dropping out, Finley Robertson, a former player of many saves on this channel. In fact, I think he was in our Cliftonville save back in FM20, wasn't it? I'll link that old one up in the eye above, see if you remember him or not. A few players we do recognise the names of though. Darnell Johnson, the skipper. Dermy Lasala at right back as well. But let's go and get into it. My favourite competition, and I'm still having to play the reserves. Unfortunately with the schedule, that will probably be the case for the rest of this save. I would love to win it one year. Let's see if we can put on a display in front of a raucous home crowd. I'm not sure we're going to be the favourites for this one, but I'd love to spring a surprise. Well, 23 minutes gone, a quarter of the game has passed, and it has been a very quiet match so far, which probably suits us, to be honest. We're still trying to be front-footed. We're not allowing much against us, to be fair, and we have improved in this area, and I know a few of you mocked it in the comments, and I might have egg on my face later, but James and Smith are big upgrades to the backup team, and we look more settled as a result, as Aiken picks the ball up here for Bell. So now going forward, we look a bit weaker in a sub-team. As Whitehall's in, it's a brilliant pass. And we're 1-0 up. The old 1-2 has come back. Sean Daniels getting a rare start. It's a beautiful curling ball. And Archie Whitehall knew exactly where it's going. But it is ironic now with the injuries to Parry, to Griffiths, to Mpardi. It's now in attack where we're a little bit threadbare. We've got Mucklehatton and Aitken coming in today. Last year they would have been on the bench for our backup team. We have gone backwards in that regard. As McGaw, he gets forward. The cross is blocked from Bell. Lasala picks it up though. Jones with the block. It's fallen luckily for him again. And it's 1-1. That's unfortunate. Jones made a very good block. It could have landed anywhere. And of course, it was straight back at the feet of Lasala. 1-1 with half an hour gone. You know what? We've been in this game. I'm pretty happy. Going to encourage the lads. We're going to try and push on. Curtis Bell's picked up a knock. It's a tight groin. The longer we leave it, the worse it will get. So at half-time, he'll come off for Stow. The youngster back into the team. He deserves some football this season. We've dominated possession. We're doing well. And Bell will be replaced by the youngster. 45 minutes to go. We're doing far better than I thought we would be. So let's see if we can finish off this surprise. And Dunfermline, maybe they'll go for us and we'll be able to hit them on the counter. As Daniels finds Whitehall. Another combination link from them two. Mucklehatton out on the right. Not ideal, but he is the only option at the minute. Could play an inverted winger in Lafferty and Mucklehatton through the middle. But why would you when you can play like that? Lafferty out wide puts in a lovely cross. And to be fair, Mucklehatton puts the cross in, and Lafferty with a lovely header into the near post. Headed it back where it came from, got it down as well. It's a really good centre forwards finish that. With the way Simpson's playing, he might not be far from the first team. Got to be wary of this yellow card and fatigue for Varma. He is the only man who started in midweek. And I want to look after Smith as well, because he's close to centre half in the first team. Gosh, struggling a little. It might end up being 4 low knees at the back. As Lockhead gets down the left-hand side, chance to cross. Cuts it back to McFarlane. Mucklehatton does really well. Now Varma can counter. He's got Lafferty through the middle. He's offside at the minute. And Varma took too long. He wasn't helped by the centre forward there. That is going to cost us. And here's James. Says he can't defend according to his attributes, but he does well there. Aitken finds Lafferty again. Sliding challenge, but it falls for Aitken, the youngster. He gets it wide to Varma. It's good football. Into the box he goes. It's a penalty kick. Lasala, the goal hero for Dunfermline, but he's brought his man down there. It says Varma went down easily, but I don't care. If there's contact, it's a penalty kick, and we've got the chance. As David Aitken, the best penalty taker in the team, does not feel the pressure, the youngster. It's a brilliant penalty. 4th goal of the season, sends the keeper the wrong way. And this is turning into a dream day. 3-1 up, away at a Scottish Championship team. We'll certainly take that with our reserves. As Craig goes from the kickoff, it's not over yet. They will throw everything at us now, and we've just got to try and hit them well on the counter. As Jewson puts it into Kerr. Wide to McGawhy on the right. This is where their goal came from. But this time he's forced back to halfway. Johnson finds Jewson. Lafferty does brilliantly. He has really proven a point today, and then loses it just as I say that. In behind the right back, Keir's in. Deflects into the arms of Murphy. We get lucky, but again, why do I say good things about people? It always comes back to bite me. An hour gone, we'll look at subs in a minute, because we've got to have an eye on midweek here. We only get 3 subs in this one, don't we? So, Farmer will be the next man off. I'm not going to do anything too silly. Lewis Scott could be the man to bring on, but he's not as good as most of the other backups. He is a fairly traditional winger though, so let's just do it. Farmer off, Lewis Scott on. We've got one more change later on. I'll probably rest Whitehall because he's most likely to feature in midweek. Smith can just sit on the bench for one more. I know it would be nice to bring McClellan back, but Jones is playing quite well. I don't really want to take risks with a winning defence at the minute. I say that, if we concede here, I might change my mind. Lockhead in. Good save from Murphy. They're getting in a bit too easily at this point. I'm not going to complain too much because we're doing all right. Whitehall is the man I'm eyeballing to come off, albeit Aitken's not had a great game. Do I go a bit more defensive here? Yeah, let's get the tie one now. We're in a good position. Not worried about Harley Jones' fitness because he can't play in Europe this year. So Aitken off for Farringdon, the youngster. He'll go into midfield. And then we'll put Archie Whitehall as the number 10, which is a much more defensive-minded change. He could even drop into a support duty too. Just give us that little bit more stability. With 15 to go, we're 3-1 up. You look at the stats, I mean, it's been a very even game. We've just taken our chances. As Lafferty finds Whitehall and Farrington. Wide to McElhatton. Great to see the 2 young summer signings on note, making an impact for the first team as Lafferty's in from the cross. Him and McElhatton have linked up well. It says what I miss in the commentary, but it looked a great save from my view. maybe he shouldn't have given him a chance, but you've got to credit the keeper there. As Daniels puts the corner into the back post, he's proving me wrong again. What a brilliant game he's had for us. And he still does look that most creative midfielder in that role. It's something that even Neil Daly can't do, is pick out those passes. Maybe he's someone we've got to get more involved. Into stoppage time we go. It has been one of our most comfortable displays of the season. We have been really composed. The backup team have delivered. And although we didn't have bundles of chances, we made sure we got the win. Through to the next round of the SPFL Trust Trophy. The draw's already made. I think we had East Fife at home. We'll be back in a moment to confirm that and see when our next episode will be. Well, a very good win for us in our competition, but I do need to show you the Irish Premiership because in addition to Linfield being games behind but being on a level record to us, one defeat, the rest wins, Larne have dropped a few points, so they're in a worse position. Warren Point have started really well. We loaned them Tennant Dykes and have got most of our former team. But look at Coleraine. 7 games, 7 wins, brilliant goal difference. Watch out for them this year because as much as we've managed to win some games, our goal difference is only 2. Linfield, Coleraine and Larne all blowing us out the water there. Let's go and have a look at the inbox. Was there anything of note? Curtis Bell's injury, only a few days, so he'll miss midweek and then he'll be back. And we are against East Fife. We got that right. That's not till the 10th of December. In the meantime, we have got a flurry of cup games. Probably our 2 trickiest Europa League games against Real Betis and Sampdoria. And then we've got a massive break before we play Apoel, Malmo and then Napoli, which of course we will show with January deadline day. But for now, I do want to leave it at least a month or so. I've got to show you a lot of these seasons. They're important ones for the club. So I'm going to come back at the changeover of the month. We'll get through all of this cup nonsense. We'll get through the 2 Europa games. We might pick up 1 point if we're lucky. And then we will be back for big games in the title race. Linfield away, Glentoran at home. 2 of the sides that occasionally take points off us. This is going to be huge. The benefit then is we've got Bangor back-to-back, who are the whipping boys at the moment. And interesting to note, actually, something I never picked up before, but I do like little stats, as you know. If you look at the Irish Premiership this year, with us and Bangor in the division, it is the first time since the start of this save that 2 teams who started in the 3rd tier are together in the top tier of Irish football. So great to see that Bangor have made their rise as well. They were a big adversary of us back in the 3rd tier. They managed to get themselves up, well, the first season, didn't they? Came back a few years later, and now 2 promotions in 3 years. I think it's proving to be a bit too early. If that's their best player, they're in trouble. When you have a look at them, just a year of football at this level will be helpful. Maybe we can do them a favour in January. I don't know. You got Mackie, the top scorer, who is part of our Northern Irish squad. I mean, that's Linfield star striker. We've still got a way to go, haven't we? But we are going to be back to face them in about a month's time. Hopefully, they'll give him a day off for that one. We are still fighting on all fronts this year. We've got 6 competitions because there's no All-Ireland trophy. But we have got a lot to play for. Hopefully we won't pick up any more injuries, but if you did enjoy this one, 2 very good results, another point in the Europa League, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe down below for daily FM23 content from 2 long-term stories. We will be heading back to club football soon in our other Save the Head Coach. If you don't know why, check out yesterday's video in the eye above. There's also links there to the football podcast and the Twitch channel, which are both going to be very busy this month too. And down in the description, you can find links to all of our brand partners, including HelloFresh UK and NordVPN. But thank you for watching as always. Your support is massively appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for more big games with Lisburn Distillery.